المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المضاد شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير دام مرسل بالحق جاء نطقه وحي السماء قوله قول فصيح يتحدى البلغاء فيه للجسم.
It's a few minutes after 3 o'clock. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm SALMA KAZI Wahab, keeping you company on the social network, sitting in for Zahir Basa, who is traveling somewhere and playing guessing games with everyone on Facebook, with us having to guess where he could possibly be. We wonder where he must be. But we wish him well, inshallah, on this well-deserved break and holiday. And we're happy to sit in and keep you company in his usual time slot between 3 and 4:30. So don't worry, he's coming back. And I will be at my usual slot on a Sunday between 10 and 12. That hasn't changed for now. But it's going to be an interesting one. The social network today is definitely going to have you tapping, and you're not going to want to miss a beat. For the first time in Radio Al Ansar history, we brought Suji's Masala to the studio in the flesh. The founder and creator and the dynamite behind, no pun on the word dynamite, by the way, with all these masalas and the colors of them and all their lovely names. Suji's Alipur Masala even made it. The roast chicken one made it to the studio. Pure chili garlic masala and a homemade ginger garlic masala also. If you're watching on Facebook, I have these with me that are straight out of the freezer, thanks to Irfana Suji, and she has actually been kind enough to give away 2 of these tubs to our listeners as well. So if you have never used the Suji's brand before, now you will have the opportunity to try it out for the very first time. All you have to do is send us a WhatsApp on what you would like to use it for. 060-904-1056. Maybe you have a lot of dinners, you have kids that love masalas, you run out of ginger garlic too much like me, or you run out of chili powder, whatever it may be. We'd love to give you 2 of our listeners some of these masalas to try out at home as well. So 060-904-1056. And while you're sending in those messages, let's get to know Irfana a little bit better as well. Irfana, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Radio Al Ansar.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you. For the benefit of the listeners that are watching on Facebook, we will obviously not be showing Irfana because that they do ask immediately, please show the guest. So we're not going to be showing Irfana. That is her personal preference, but the listeners will still get to enjoy getting to know you a little bit better. Your journey is definitely a fascinating one. I could go as far back as remember coming to pick up some of those masalas from you. Yes. And there you are going and digging into your chest freezer and pulling out some masalas in your home. Tell us about how Suji started.
So in 2017, when I moved back from Johannesburg, and when I came here and I realized that there was a niche in the market, where all these moms are on the run, and I was also on the run, and we don't have the time to cook as much as our mothers used to and prepare from scratch. So I found that by making these masalas, it's cutting their cooking time by half or 3/4 because it's making it easier. And also the new generation, like moms that are working full time, it's much easier for them. It's very, very easy. And also they are getting that traditional taste that their mums and nannies and all of them used to cook,
Speaking of those traditional tastes now, you've got a lot of these ones, which is nani's this or kakima's this, and I don't know the Memon terminologies. What is it? Gori kaki? And
so it's Memon and Gujarati and everything.
Yeah, I gather. So tell us about some of the names that you've got with some of those and why.
So the Memon Akni, I don't need to introduce everyone.
It's
knows that. And the Alipur, actually, it's from what I know, I'm not an expert on this, but from what I know, it's type of Gujarati-speaking Indians.
Alipur.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's Colvard that also is a type. And I actually didn't know about all of this until I got married. And my husband's family, they knew all of this, and that's how I came to know.
Okay.
So I basically, I feel like the Alipurs are known for their biryanis. Like my in-laws as well. One of my auntie-in-laws, her biryani is amazing. So I feel like that's where I learned it from. So I named them all different because I feel like it's also traditional. It's Indian. We are Indian. Whether it's Memon, Surti, anything, we are Indian, So it's basically just traditional.
It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, a cultural thing, yes.
What are some of your personal favorites?
So I actually brought two of my favorites.
Right.
The Alipur chicken, which is magic. It is magic.
It's a beautiful color.
You can put it in anything. You don't. The beauty of the marinades is that you don't have to use it only as that marinade.
Okay.
So if you're cooking a chicken curry, you can add a teaspoon. And cooking anything, you can just add a teaspoon of any one of them. Even if it says lamb or steak, you can mix it up.
Okay.
You can be adventurous with it. So you don't have to only use it for what it says.
And how does it go on a spice scale? Heat-wise?
So it's medium.
Okay.
The only one that's a little bit chili is our peri peri, which I didn't bring today, but it's more chili. The rest of them are all medium.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So your range goes with Suji's. You had to, initially it was Suji's masala.
Yes.
And then you became Suji's gourmet food.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Why did you have to become a gourmet?
So we added savories to our range.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we became a food. And our savories are now about 4 years. And our pies are well known.
The Suji pies everyone talks about, the flaky ones.
So that is, alhamdulillah, that is something that we do regularly throughout the year. And we recently launched the Suji's pizzas, so which is fresh. You get it weekends here in Durban. At the moment, it's not available anywhere else, but in Durban and Amshlanga there is.
Oh, lovely. So we got Suji's masalas, the gourmet foods, the savories, and the cooking classes. This one I love. And this caught my attention because back in the day, Islah al-Muslimat Madrasa days and all that, we knew how home economics was so important.
Yes.
And it reminded me of that. It really did, in the sense that many girls were learning from their moms and things, but sometimes you're afraid to almost ask the questions and you want to know, how do you add this, or how do you get this the same texture or that same.
And I think a lot of the moms also complain that when they tell their daughters, don't do this, it's not supposed to be like this, then they get a bit upset, because you know how moms and daughters are. So if I tell them, no, it needs to be this way, they really can't tell me anything, because I'm teaching them.
So take me through a typical cooking class with these girls.
So it's hands-on.
Right.
So they have to, if we have like a 4-day, for example, the beginner's course, that they learn everything from scratch. They learn how to cut chicken, clean chicken, mutton, everything. They have to do everything. They have to cut their onions. They got to clean their chicken. They got to cook their curries. They got to cook, whether it's dal and rice, whether it's biryani. They've got to do it all. I'm just standing there guiding them and showing them, okay, it needs to be this way. This is how you're going to cut it. And I'm there if they need anything, but I make them cook, because if I'm going to cook, they're not going to be able to do it on their own.
Cleaning chicken, how?
They got to take out the vein from the drumstick. And I make sure that I don't even wash it. I give them dirty chicken to clean.
Oh no!
Because they need to learn. What if they get married and they're living in a farm?
You get a cut chicken.
You're not going to get.
You make sure you're near one of those people that cut chickens for you. But no, that I do understand what you're saying. And lots and tons of messages coming in as well. We're reminding people that Irfan has been generous enough to give 2 of these Suji's masalas away to our listeners as well today, who get, you just have to pop us a message, 060-904-1056. Why would you like to use these masalas? And so many say they've heard and they love Suji's masala. But ideally, if you've never used it before, we'd love to give you the opportunity to try out the range. How far and wide is it stocked now from the beginning compared to when you first started?
So alhamdulillah, we are now countrywide. And in fact, I just packed last week. We now have the these very thick double sealed Ziploc bags. They're really thick, like sachets, and they don't leak. So we have them going overseas.
Okay.
So we actually just sent last week to Dubai, and next week it's going to Canada.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, a lot of the South Africans that moved over, and then they tell their friends and that. So generally, we're sending it by flight, but we are looking at couriers. But for now, it's all over South Africa. The small towns everywhere. And if you can't get it at a store, we are online.
Yes, Suji's gourmet food, is it? .co.za.
Yes.
Okay, so that is if you wish to order, you can simply do it online and you can deliver anywhere around South Africa, or else you are likely to find a Suji stockist near you. You simply can go onto their website or their social media, and Irfana can guide you as to where you can find them around. Now let's get into some of your favorite or most highly requested recipes, because that is one of the things that people do request from you the most. Yes, Boniso coming and checking out our marinades here and spices. But before we get into that recipe, actually, he's actually reminded me of something. He came to look at the color also because he's trying to figure out what's inside of it. He wants to see what it contains. They do give the ingredients. I'm looking at your pure chili garlic masala now. Chilies, garlic, salt, natural preservatives. I love that. How simple is that?
Yes. And there's no artificial preservatives at all.
So what makes yours special? Why would you say? Is it something
There's no
you're reading on?
colorants. There's no, we don't use anything artificial in it at all. And there's no colorants at all. And I didn't know this until I started Suji's. A lot of people are allergic to that. A lot of people contact me because their children are allergic to colorants.
And the coughs and
stuff.
all that.
Yes, I had no idea. And also, while we're on the topic of Suji, so we do have a recipe group. We have about 3 actually.
Wow.
I post like weekly.
A WhatsApp group?
Yes, a WhatsApp group. My own recipes, which I've tried and I use. So even if someone sends me a recipe, I will try it first and then I'll put it up. So we do like have
and that can be handy.
Yes. So it's using my spices, because I find a lot of people have been cooking for years, but they don't know how to incorporate my spices in their cooking and how to use it. Like the older generation, they're like, but how do you use this? Because they haven't used it before.
Yeah.
So I feel that it helps, and it also helps younger girls who are now just married or university living alone to follow my recipes because they're very easy.
Okay, so speaking of recipes, which recipe are you sharing with us today?
So today I'm sharing a recipe of my mom's that's really, my whole family loves it. It's her fish akhni.
Ooh.
So it's fresh fish akhni.
Is this so this is mom's. Is this a Mehman style?
Mehman akhni, yes.
Mehman akhni.
I just thought that would be the most fitting.
Okay.
And so basically it's fresh fish, right? You're going to marinate the fresh fish with our new traditional fish masala.
What fish would you typically use? What are your favorites or preferences?
Soldier is nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't like red fish. I feel it's got too many of those bones.
The little bones.
But I like soldier. Or even king clip, not the
I just
fillet.
cooked with Dorado this week, and that was amazing.
Yes,
beautiful.
Even rock hard.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So you'll marinate the fish with the fish masala, nothing else, and you keep it aside.
Right.
Then you will put your ghee or your oil in the pot. You'll put some methi seeds. I'm giving you the gist of it.
Go for it.
Yes. You put methi seeds, some jiru, people say cumin, and onions, and your curry leaf, right? And then you let it like saute till it's soft. Then you're going to add about 3 tomatoes liquidized, and you're going to put all your spices. And you're going to put a teaspoon of the chili garlic.
So you'll still add your normal spices?
Yes. Okay. Because we're not only using the akhni masala. This is now incorporating it in your daily. So also this way your masalas will last you longer.
Okay.
So you're going to put in your tomatoes, you're going to put your basic spices, right? And then you're going to put your chili garlic, right? When you're cooking fish, you use garlic. I don't use ginger, right?
Okay.
So you're going to put our plain garlic, our chili garlic, and we're going to put a tablespoon of our Mehman akhni in the tomato mixture. Now, the trick with tomato is that you got to let it cook on medium till it cooks like really slow. Once that is done, you'll find the oil of the ghee will come to the top. Then you will add your potatoes and your raw rice inside, about 2.5 cups of raw rice. I use masiha rice. You add that in and you push it in the oven to steam, right? Then you're going to fry your fish, and when the akhni is almost done, you're going to fry the fish, place it on the top, add some garam masala to the top, some dhania, and you're going to steam it all together. And done. It's like the easiest thing to make.
So the main cooking part is the rice and all the other things.
Yes, and it cooks in the oven for you.
Whole time.
Yeah, the fish is just marinating in your fridge. And you know what? You can use our fish and prawn marinade. That's a marinade. Our fish masala is new. That's a masala. You can use either one, or you can even mix them both.
I think that's fantastic. So before we run out of time, I have to start going through these messages so we can pick. So I'm going to pick your brain. What you're going to have to do is you're going to listen. I'm going to read out the messages, right? So you're going to write down when the name sounds to your preference, and you can pick who you prefer, right? You can choose the winner. And for the benefit of the listeners, I'm not having any role in this decision. Irfana's going to decide on the 2 listeners she's going to give it out to. So let's open our messages. Let's go to Nasreen says. Nasreen Isak says, I've never tried your masalas, but I'd love to try it. I cook a lot. Razia Khan says, I've never tried it, would love a tub because I'm always creating new curries. I will use it in all my curries. Then you have, it's going to be a very hard decision.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Firoza says, Salams. Hi, Salma. I'm always running short of chili powder, garam masala, and dana jeera. Girl, same. I haven't used Suji's before. I would like to try it for the first time. That's Firoza. Then you have an Aisha Ahmad. I have tried the Suji's chicken masala, was divine. I would love to try the steak marinade. That would be a nice one. Assalamu alaikum. It would be lovely to try the Suji spices. I use another, she's mentioning another brand that she uses at the moment. Salams, I would really like to try Suji's masala. Haven't tried it before. Let's scroll a little down. This one is from Chatsworth now. Okay, she's trying to call. I love using the Suji's masala. I use the marinade from the tub. Just a little adds flavor to my mutton curry, chicken curry, or kaliyas. I also use it on my grilled chicken. My name is Shireen. I'm from Chatsworth, and my daughter introduced me to it. So you see, that's what we spoke about. The new generation is introducing it to the older generation. Salams. Please, 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 please. This is from Tahira Lockett. I can always hear the desperation in her voice. Ginger garlic. Straight up, she goes for the ginger garlic.
That is our most popular. That's our goal.
You can almost make out this is someone that knows what she wants. And she's like, I have to have that ginger garlic one they're talking about. Oh my goodness, I lost the page. Oh, there we go. Salam Sudis really need to look at the red ginger garlic masala packaging. She says it's going off quickly. So we'll address that with Irfana. She's making a note of that. And with her airtight bag, she suggested as well. Thank you for that message. Zahira says, would love to try the Suji's masala, please. Rizwana says she's heard about Irfana and haven't tried any of her products before. So I would like to try the roast chicken and ginger garlic masala. But she knows the masala she wants to try. That's Rizwana. Sadia says, Salam Salma, trust you're well. I would like to try any of the masalas. Very honest of you, Sadia. Love Suji's masalas. I use the green masala often and garlic masala for my curries. Okay, and this one is, would love to try it. My husband loves mutton curry and not making it often enough. That's from Fatima. So I think that is all right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's all the messages that have come through for now. We thank you for all your wonderful messages. Irfana, have you reached a decision with which two listeners we're going to give the masalas to? Tahira Lockett and Sister Sadia. Congratulations to you, Mubarak. And we want a picture.
Congratulations.
Oh, that is so cool. I didn't know we had that. Thank you, Spaniso. So Tahira Lockett and Sister Sadia that sent that message now towards the end. I'm going to leave the spices for you here at Al Ansar, and you can come and collect it working hours, I'm assuming. So tomorrow or on Monday. Please don't come over the weekend. We're going to leave it at Al Ansar for you to collect. Thank you, Irfana, for spending time with us. It was wonderful speaking to you and for bringing along your goodies to the Al Ansar.
So nice meeting you as well.
Yes, lovely meeting you. We wish you all the best with your business, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. That is Suji's Gourmet Food. You can find them on social media or go onto their website, sujisgourmetfood.co.za. Coming up next, Ahmed Manzoor, Sheikh Imam. We talk to him live in studio.
تشرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير طلع النور المبين نور خير المرسلين نور أمن وسلام.
Looking to book your next holiday? Make your way to One Stop Travel and Tours. At One Stop Travel, we offer a wide range of holidays at the most competitive prices. Group tours, tailor-made holidays, cruises, transfers, accommodation, travel insurance, and car hire. Visit our website on www.onestoptours.co.za for our current Turkey specials, Mauritius school holiday deals, and Umrah packages. Choose from a multitude of pre-made packages. Visit one of our branches in Overport, Gateway, Musgrave Centre, Fordsburg, Westwood Mall, Pavilion Shopping Centre, Chatsworth, Phoenix, and Cape Town. Contact us today on 0860 109 500. One Stop Travel and Tours, your one-stop travel shop.
Concerned about the purity of your drinking water? Discover the ultimate solution with Waterfront, our cutting-edge water purification systems featuring advanced reverse osmosis and alkaline technology. Guarantee pristine water for you and your loved ones. From just R1 per litre, prioritize your family's health with Waterfront. Don't settle for anything less. Elevate your lifestyle with every sip. Waterfront, transforming your hydration experience one drop at a time. Find us at Saxony Westwood Mall next to Discam and opposite the new Dawood's Mega Store.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
They got to say thanks to Allah for giving me another day, for the breath I breathe, to the trees, back to me. Can't you see? I'm living life in harmony. Got the sun shining down on me perfectly, currently. Feeling the breeze from the sea and the clouds giving shade to me. Pray for me patiently. Growing the food that I eat, and we could never count your blessings. Every second, so many lessons got me turning to the heavens. Thanks to He for creating me, shaping me, sustaining me. Praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I gotta thank you for my eyes and my thighs and my toes and my nose and my lips and my smile and my ears and my fears and my mind and my time and my friends and my foes and my trials and my health and my wealth and the love in my life and the fact that you set me a beautiful wife, for the good and the bad, for the strength that I had, for my mom and my dad, so much more I could add. You give and forgive while we get and forget. To the Lord of the worlds we are always in debt. And how could I forget that you guided me to this thing? And for that, praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Praises to the Rabbil Alameen. I wanna thank you. I wanna praise you. Give my praise, my sacrifice and life for you. I wanna thank you. I wanna praise you. Give my prayers, my sacrifice and life for you. I wanna thank you. I wanna praise you. Give my praise, my sacrifice and life for you. I wanna thank you. I wanna praise you. Give my prayers, my sacrifice and life for you.
Audio stream across the world on radioalansar.co.za.
In a time when many of us feel sidelined by the big names and traditional paths in our political landscape, it's worth asking if there's another way forward. It's easy to feel dwarfed by the towering structures of established politics, yet every significant change throughout history began with someone daring to think differently, to step out from the shadows of giants. This is the spirit embodied by leaders like Ahmed Mansour Sheikh Imam and initiatives like the Allied Movement for Change, courage in the face of long odds. Here's the truth. Our power as citizens doesn't just lie in casting a vote. It lies in our continuous engagement and willingness to challenge the status quo. It lies in the power of starting conversations, in the audacity to demand more from those who lead us. Each election gives us a chance to redirect our collective future, to plant seeds for a garden we all hope to see flourish. Maybe not immediately, but maybe not for the next 5 years. But if we start laying the groundwork now, we could see transformative shift in the way our communities thrive. Brother Ahmed Manzoor Sheikh Imam from the Allied Movement for Change. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Radio Al Ansar.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran for having me on the air this beautiful afternoon.
It's wonderful to meet you in person, and it's wonderful to have you here. And before we get into depth with all the politics talk, it's such a privilege to actually meet you. And you see, in light of what's been happening since October 7th, there's lots of those viral videos, people talking around, and especially when your name comes up, everyone remembers. Are you just going lower and lower? His seat is literally, at least we know the chair is humble. He's just going down. But we're going to ask Spunisa to just adjust that for him. Thank you. My apologies for that. But yes, thank you, Spunisa. You can just raise him up there a little. Thank you so much. But yes, the videos, which I would say actually did put you on the map to an extent, that really made people look and question who is this and what is he about. And then obviously this year, now with elections coming out, we now see the party, the Allied Movement for Change. How did that make you feel to see how viral your videos actually went? And it wasn't only about sensationalism. People respected you. They appreciated that you had the guts, so to speak, to say what you said.
Well, indeed, and Jazakallah for that, Sister Salma, yes. But remember that my contribution, particularly as far as Palestine is concerned, goes long before the 7th of October. If you remember that in 2017, the ANC passed a resolution in their conference to address and downgrade the South African embassy, and it had never been done. And I have been putting in this motion to downgrade the South African embassy and recall the ambassador in all of 2019, all of 2020, all of 2021. Every 3 months that motion expired. But because of the rotational system we have in Parliament, it was not my opportunity. Until my opportunity arrived and they could not delay this any further. And that's when I brought the first motion in the world to downgrade. And that was taking on the state of Israel. If you're taking on the state of Israel, you're taking on the world, as far as I'm concerned. And Alhamdulillah, we managed to downgrade that embassy and recall our ambassador. And also, we're enjoying the fruits of another achievement there, that for the first time in 30 years, Palestinians are able to come to South Africa without a visa. Now, when I first investigated this, I was shocked as to what the response was, that Palestinians were regarded as terrorists. And for that, in that respect, they told me that they were a risk to South Africa. And that's why there were stringent visa conditions and they could almost not come here. And now that really, shocked me. And I thought, no, this is enough. And so I raised it with all the relevant departments, the ministers, the president, and everybody did everything I can do, including the Minister of Home Affairs, who's been very, very helpful. And Alhamdulillah, I can say with the pressure that was put onto them, our brothers and sisters today can enjoy the freedom that others are enjoying as far as coming to South Africa. So when this happened on the 7th of October, and of course, many people, and particularly in Parliament, there's been 14 political parties. And it's exactly the same thing with the Russian-Ukraine war as well. That the political parties were afraid to speak out their minds. And I believe that we serve the interests of the people. And you must do that without fear or favor. Many people wanted to know from me, is you're not afraid of your life? I said, my life and death is in the hands of Allah. If what is going to happen is going to happen. But the Palestinian cause is a just cause. If you look at what is happening. Look at what is happening there right now as I speak to you. And where is it heading to? Where is the next stop? In my view, South Africa is the next stop. South Africa creates a conducive environment for the Zionists to settle here. If you see what's happening in the Western Cape, look at how the land is being disposed of. So once they create a footprint in the Western Cape, Salma, can you imagine how they're going to take it to the rest of the country? Now, since the days of apartheid, if you remember, prior to apartheid, it was the state of Israel that colluded with the South African apartheid regime. Our South African government has done absolutely nothing to counter that for this last 30 years. To such an extent, they've allowed the entire economy of the country, to be held hostage by these people,
Controlled
because
by
in
them, yeah.
one way or the other, directly or indirectly, they've infiltrated every sector in the country with the power that they use together with the West. So we have not done anything to address the shortcomings of the people, of the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable people. We've actually given it on a silver platter. Now, when we want to do something about it, there's very little you can do about it, because we've compromised ourselves and they control the entire economy. So I must say, yes, indeed, there's been, it's been going viral. Many others have gone viral. I've been receiving a lot of calls. But let me also say this, that I've got lots of threatening emails and messages.
I can imagine.
I get them up to now, to be honest with you. But, I've learned to ignore them. I was told not to retaliate. They've threatened me with taking me to the Human Rights Commission, particularly on the last one, where I've raised the concern and was very clear, telling the Democratic Alliance and the Western Cape that if they believe and think that South Africans are going to sit back and allow them to make the Western Cape or the city of Cape Town another Palestine, there will be a bloodbath, and certainly there will be. I mean, I can tell you that I've been the only one in Parliament that have been raising the concerns of the first indigenous nation, which is the Khoi and San, and they are rising for the first time. It is their land that is now currently being disposed of to the Zionists. They are actually, I want to say, they're creating a stronghold in the city of Cape Town and the Western Cape. And remember, that is where apartheid thrived. That is where these people are going to control the rest.
But people's eyes are opening to it now.
Absolutely.
Only now.
Only
like
now.
you said, it's 30 years now since democracy.
Yes.
And it just so happens that all has started happening now, that everyone's like, hey, we need to think twice now who we're voting for and what's going on, because now it's so critical. It's such a critical stage in our own democracy, like you mentioned. We have to see the mastermind games being played here that you're explaining as well. Many of us do feel that the path of traditional politics isn't leading us where we need to go necessarily. Could you share now what inspired you to forge this new path with the Allied Movement for Change?
All right. First of all, I was a councillor at Iteguini municipality.
Right.
I've been part of the struggle. I had to run away from Johannesburg. Had it not been for my mother, that is why I say, and I created the saying, you can have everything in the world, and if you got no mother, you got nothing. You can have nothing in the world, but if you got a mother, you got everything. Now, my mother came to Johannesburg to take me away because the police were looking for me, the special branch, they called them at that time, because I was a spokesperson for Hillbrow, Joubert Park Tenants Action Committee, ACTSTOP, where they were actually evicting people from the so-called white buildings and things. All right. So, so that's where it came. So I was even a councillor at Iteguini Municipal, like I said, I'll give you a good example. The water leaks at that time was 27%. Today it's 58%.
Water.
Just the water, right? And I can tell you that the debt at Iteguini currently sits at 8 billion rand.
Sure.
The truth is that they don't have any cash reserves. One of these days, they'll have no money to pay the current month's expenses. So when you get these additional and extra, your accounts coming with high billing costs, it's because they're running out of money. That's some of the problems.
So then everyone else's costs go up.
Now, I used to be part of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. It's an oversight committee on how the money is spent, basically. At that stage, that itemized integrated financial management system or billing system, we had already spent over 500 million at that time. And I'm talking about now 10, 13 years ago, right? And it was nowhere near ready. More importantly, the person that was involved in it used to work in the department at Iteguini, right? Under a certain manager, went and created the company that the both of them were owning. You see where this is going. It's still not successful up to this very day. Don't be surprised, because Treasury, National Treasury in Parliament, which is the custodians of the wealth and the money of this country, have done the same thing in the integrated financial management system. They couldn't manage their own. They were paying invoices of work that was never done. And I can tell you, Salma, I've raised it again and again, including not long ago. What has happened to the investigation? Billions of rands have gone up. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
All covered up.
So That was one. Secondly, being in parliament for the best part of this 10 years, I was able to identify where the weaknesses are and where the strengths are. Very little strengths, I must be very honest with you. The system for South Africa and the African continent is not working. That's the first thing. I'll give you a few good examples. We have 3 million people on the housing list in South Africa, homeless, got no home. And that is not even talking about those that are sleeping on the streets. They're not talking about those. And that is increasing by a minimum of 200,000 every year. Now let's ask ourselves, the Freedom Charter says that the wealth of this country shall belong to the people of this country. Does it? Only a handful of people, 5 people run this whole economy. But let me go one step further to say this. What stops us? We are the most unequal society in the world.
Yeah.
Let's say we inherited an unequal society. There's no doubt about it. The fact of, yes, we were in financial trouble when we inherited the country. It was going in that direction. But we inherited a beautiful infrastructure. Let us not dispute that. Now, what stops us from identifying, and every councillor, in my understanding, ought to know who the people in his ward is or her ward is. You should have a database of who your people is. So the municipality must have it. What stops you in identifying those people in your wards, in your municipality, that cannot afford homes, and subdivide the land that is available and give them a subdivided piece of land with the title deed, which is you giving them their dignity and their identity. On a street today, nobody asks you your name first. They ask you where you're from. What stops us from giving them that? Absolutely nothing. Let's not worry about the water, sanitation, electricity. As you available, got budgets, you can do that, right? But what stops you from giving that to just address the inequality that exists, the rich and the poor, and the massive gap that exists? Nothing stops us. Why won't we do it? Because we want these people to remain vulnerable, so they'll continuously come and vote for us. I'll give you a second one. South Africa loses an estimated 500 billion rand a year. Because an item that costs 10 rand, you are paying 100 rand. And it benefits all the political parties. They sustain themselves with it, whoever governs, wherever they govern. I have raised this over 50 times in Parliament, even with the President and everybody. I gave them a solution, and one of the things I said is very simple. Make sure that no politician or political party, SALMA, has anything to do with procurement, contracts, tenders, nothing. Keep us out. Our job is to conduct oversight and implement projects and programs. Right? Secondly, I said, make sure that no politician has anything to do, including us in Parliament, of appointing boards, municipal managers, CFOs, all the directors. No, it's not our job. Because if we appoint, which is what we do, we put our own people in there, we take those tenders and give it to our own people, okay, because our party benefit. Do you know what the entire fuss is about, particularly in the ANC right now? On certain individuals when it comes to corruption?